up, fellas? Thought I'd do a little fun segment here. Since I am the former and still current champion of fantasy football and the rightful owner of the coveted Franco, thought it'd be a fun little thing to do, a segment weekly on this site where I'd choose who I think is going to win on a weekly basis. I rightfully call it Champs Pics. Name of the game, I choose who I think is going to win every individual match for the league. You can agree or disagree with me if you want. I really don't give a shit. So, first matchup. Give you a good example. We're going to start off with mine. We have fully torqued myself versus the Big Lebowski, Nathan Yost. And I'm looking at the stats for this week, and I'll give a couple bit of analysis. Drew Brees, I think, is going to have another huge game. He, may have lost against RG3 and freaking Redskins, but it doesn't matter because he still is able to throw right down the field and do the same work that he did last year. Just because his defense is, something, we hurt people for money, that doesn't mean anything. That just means he's actually going to be on the field more because his defense is probably going to be too scared to do anything without getting, fined if they hurt anybody. So, Drew Brees is going to do well. Green Ellis, I am trusting that the law firm does something, but we'll see what happens. The 49ers, going with them just because I made the mistake of going with another defense and not just sticking with the 49ers, and I think that's what I need to do for the rest of this. AJ Green, I hope you deliver a little bit more than you did last time, but we'll see what happens. Never know. Really, all in all, I think my roster set is going to be, and I'm hoping that there's something good comes of it. But really, when you're comparing them to Yost, I would have to say that, well, Big Lebowski's going to be a little bit of suffering. First of all, Brandon Marshall decided to shit the bed on Thursday, which was a huge blow to his team already. And for whatever reason, Yost is still thinking that he wants to keep Ryan Matthews in. Not exactly sure why you're doing that, Yost. Maybe you're too busy, cleaning up your house. But I'd have to say that if you could switch that up a little bit, it'll give you a much better chance of winning. Really, all in all, I'm just going to end up saying it again, going with myself on this one being the favorite. Try doing the votes on there, guys. We can get a little bit of healthy competition here, and the projections themselves might actually make a cool little thing for you to do in your off time, because I'm sure you're all extremely busy 100% of your life and don't ever have time for fantasy football. Assholes. Next stop, Crawling Batches versus Crown of Gondor. Now, looking at this team a little bit here, I have to first of all say, fuck you, Winkler. Fuck you to the very depths of your fucking black-hearted soul, you asshole, for beating me last week. Alright, I'm glad I got that on the system. Anyways, nevertheless, we look at Winkler's team. I see an extremely powerful team. You got Jamal Charles and Calvin Johnson alone are just a terrifying combination. I'm not exactly sure why you're going with the Eagles' defense in this situation there, Winks, but, maybe you're just not a believer of Joe Flacco at this point. I, for one, believe that there's something going on there. No huddle offense. How many times did we have to hear that last week anyways, huh? Darm, you don't have a terrible start after Thursday, but Matt Forte, that was painful. And Jordy Nelson could have done a little bit better too. All in all, you had sort of a rough start, and your projected total is not all that great at this point. I would say definitely probably should put in a running back considering you have a slot open. Don't know why you did that. But I'm going to have to go with Winkler on this one. I think he's going to be able to take this one home and go 2-0, and Darm's going to have to fall with the bitches on the ground. Well, the Headless Norseman playing, how do you even say it? Probing Moist Makers. I have to agree with Winkler on this one. Best team name yet. Well, looking at this matchup here, yesterday's game really says a lot. Jay Cutler had an awful performance, and I'd have to say that normally I would instantly have to go with Sam on this one, but then looking back on it, God, your team is terrifying, Bozzard. LaShawn McCoy, Michael Turner, Andre Johnson, and then your tight end being Jimmy Graham. It's like your team is still stacked, and according to a lot of the comparisons that I'm doing here, I'm thinking you still have a valid chance of being able to take on Sam? Yeah, I mean, it's weird. But don't get me wrong, it's not going to be an easy downhill fight of any kind. It's definitely going to be a very, very difficult win if you do pull it off. You still have to fight Marshawn Lynch and Eli Manning in this, and I mean, I'm going to have to, after really weighing the options, still go with Sam based just on the fact that his quarterback's probably to get more than 2 points. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Sam on this one, but this is one of the most exciting games I think we're going to be seeing in fantasy this week. Alright, so next matchup we have is Black of My Ass versus Pasquale's Pigskin. If you end up growing up with the kid, this would make it a lot more funny than maybe all of you guys understand. Anyways, first of all, I'd like to say, Ron, your team is pretty boss right now. I'm kind of excited to see what they do. I mean, I know we're not supposed to pay too much attention to projected totals, but holy hell, I'm excited to see this. Combination of Arian Foster and you, that near loss of CJ Spiller almost screwed you over, but being that we're a cordial and friendly fantasy football team, we were more than happy to give it back to you, even though I saw him in the neighbors and trying to get him, and you wouldn't. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, looking at that team, I'd have to say that, you know, you were definitely looking pretty good for this week. Not to mention the fact that the Packers defense destroyed yesterday. 21 fantasy points? Really? Wow. I have to keep looking at that to even understand that it actually happened yesterday. It was insane. Now before, if I would have actually, you know, judged this matchup, I would have said that it would have been a little bit closer, but looking at it now, I mean, although Josiah's team does look the exact same as it did last year, you really have a good amount of faithfulness to your players, don't you? Anyways, I mean, although they're really good, and I have to say that Josie still has a chance, I'm going to have to go with Ron on this one, just because that defense is going to be what's really boosts them up. And I mean, you know, when you're comparing defense like Green Bay to Dallas, I'm going to go with Ron. Sorry, Josie. Next, we have Brett Keese's Beard playing South Street Rock Chopsters. Chop versus Matt. A tale as old as, well, it's not that old, but I have to say that out of all the matches that we're going to see this week, this one's going to be the most competitive because we have some of the real top-notch players getting ready to go at each other. You have, you know, Matt, always pretty much expecting him to have a great roster, and Chop, who last year I thought would have done better, just ended up falling by the wayside. However, I really feel that Chop has the know-how to really be able to pull out a good team. Looking at how things are going, too, I mean, Chop, you got Cam Newton, you got Adrian Peterson, you have Bernie Davis, Michael Crabtree, I mean, Ravens defense even, who is going to, in my opinion, really just take Philadelphia for a spin. Hopefully take out Michael Vick. Sorry, Josie. I think that his team has a definite chance of being a real good shot. But on the other hand, you're looking at, you know, the combination of Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski on Noodles' team. I mean, either going to do really great for you on weeks or not do so great for you, man. It's kind of a gamble. But going against Arizona, going to have to side with you on that one. Plus, Steelers D against New York Jets. I have to say that Steelers are pissed off. They want a little bit of retribution here. They're going to go after the Jets, and I think they're going to be able to have their defense do something, hopefully. If they're not, never mind. I don't want to say it. Anyway, Darren Sproles, Maud Bradshaw, Demaryius Thomas. Dang, dude. This team's looking really, really tough. I really have to say that I think Noodles is going to be the one that pulls out on this one by a very slim margin. So I'm going to have to go with Noodles. And next we have the Jamaican bobsled guys, bobsled Tyler, playing Anal Secretions with the same ridiculously provocative photo that nearly gets me in trouble at work every week. Anyways, so we're looking at this as the last matchup here, and I'd have to say that this one will be another fairly close one. I mean, looking at yesterday's game, you can see that it definitely had an effect on these two teams. Mostly you see Aaron Rodgers not performing to the way you want him to see him, Tyler, and that's definitely going to be a blow to your team. Looking at Robbie Gold and the Bears D for Adam, and they performed all right. I mean, there wasn't any real big problems on there. Robbie could have kicked a couple more field goals, but really at the end of it all, as long as he scored a few points, it kind of makes you feel a little better. Now Adam has the rest of his actual team to really start carrying him home. Tony Romo, I think, will have an okay game. Seahawks, we'll see. But then, you know, you got like DeMarco Murray. I think he's going to have a good game. I'm seeing that happening as well. Vincent Jackson, Deshaun Jackson. Good combination. Jackson brothers, which they're not brothers, but they have the same last name anyways. Whatever. They're, I think, going to be able to take some, do a little bit of whatnot with it. But on the other hand, I mean, Tyler still has Darren McFadden ready to go. Wes Welker, who carried me to the championship. Did I mention that I won that last year? I think I did. Well, anyways, I still have a lot of faith in Wes Welker. I mean, Fred Davis as a tight end might not be terrible. And Bengals D actually might score really well considering the fact that Cleveland can't do shit on their offense right now. Did you see that game? I mean, well, I don't even know how many interceptions it was. I just kind of quit after a while. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Adam on this one. Thinking he's gonna pull ahead a little bit more than maybe you might initially think, but I would have to say Adam by a pretty good margin. Well, guys, that's it. That's all the matchups we have for coming this week. I'm gonna try and head to the gym, get my workout on before I start drinking and completely negate the fact that I went to the gym. Make sure to read the Commission's latest post, because it's hilarious and everybody should read it. Manage your teams. Make sure things are looking good. This is the former champ telling y'all good luck this week, and you're going to lose to me at the end. Really, that's what's going to happen. Out.